Okay, so we're going to be comparing numbers to 10, greater or less than 10. These are words to know. These are what? Chickens. And this is a boy.
What do you see?
What do we see? Just tell me. Try to talk to your neighbor and tell your neighbor. Okay, what do we see in this picture? Chickens. We see black chickens and brown chickens and a boy. How many chickens do we see? 10. Very good, Chelsea. We see 10 because this is a tens frame, so we know it's 10 chickens.
There are 10 chickens.
Good job.
How do you know there are 10 chickens?
How do we know there are 10 chickens? We know. We can count them. Good. Sophie? We wouldn't really know yet, I don't think. Or Wyatt? Well, we wouldn't sort them because we want to know how we know there are 10 chickens. Shelby, do you have another idea? By looking at them, we know that this is a 10 frame, maybe. Okay, so we know there's 10 chickens, so we can count them.
All 10 squares are full, and there are no extra chickens.
I need all eyes up here, please. This is what's called a tens frame. Okay, see this box? See the orange box here? This is what's called a tens frame. So these boxes are 10. There are 10 boxes. So we know that there are 10 chickens because no boxes have empty squares, right? Okay.
How many chickens do you see?
Now how many chickens do we see? Can everyone tell me? How many? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many chickens are there now? 7.
There are 7 chickens. Is 7 greater than 10 or less than 10?
Try to tell your neighbor, is it greater than 10 or less than 10? Sophie and Wyatt, you should talk to each other. Chelsea next. I hear a lot of people saying what I think is the right answer. Gigi, head up, please. How many? Is it greater or less? Good. 7 is less than 10. Good.
7 is less than 10. How do you know?
How do we know? How do we know? Someone raise your hand and tell me. How do we know? Heads up. How do we know? Jack? How can this chart help you, Dax? What does this chart show you down here? That there's 7, so what does it have that this chart doesn't have? Someone looking for Gavin, you know? Not 9. Okay, guys, look. Look at these two charts. I want you to look up here. Eyes up on the board. Thank you. Look up here. Look at this tens frame. This tens frame is all filled up, isn't it? Oh, I didn't hear all my friends answering it. Is this tens frame all filled up? Is this one filled up? Is this one filled up? No, it's not filled up. So we know that there are fewer or less chickens down here than there are up here, right? Yes. Okay, so we can compare these two tens frames, can't we?
There are empty squares, so the number of chickens is less than 10.
In your laps, please.
Are there more than 10 chickens?
Yes or no? Are there more than 10 chickens? Yes, because we've got a tens frame here, and then we've got one extra. Good, Gavin, very good. We've got one extra chicken down here. We've got 10 up here because this is a tens frame and they're all filled up. And then we've got an extra. So how many chickens do we have? What's one more than 10? Good, Shelby. What's one more than 10?
Let's count together.
Okay, now we'll count. Ready? 1, 2, 11 chickens.
There are more than 10 chickens. How do you know?
Okay, how do we know? How can we use this tens frame to find out? Alyssa. How do we know? Come on, guys. How do we know? How do we know? We need our hands in our laps. How do we know that there are more than 10 chickens? By looking at this tens frame. Like, how do you know? How do we know, guys? The same people are raising their hands. I'm not going to call on them because I know that they know. How do we know that there are more than 10 chickens? Look at this tens frame. Then look at this. What do we have? Lucian, what do we have? We have one extra. The tens frame is filled up. The tens frame is filled up, and then we've got one extra. Good.
The frame is full, and there is an extra chicken. Thinking of 10 can help you compare numbers such as 6 and 8. Try it yourself.
All right, let's look at these two frames. This is how many? Gavin, tell your friends how many this is. 6. And how many's down here? Good, Gavin. There's 6 here, there's 8 here. Which is more, 6 or 8? Now, give it. There's 6 or 8? 8. There are 2 more chickens down here than this one. There's 2 more spaces that are filled in. So 8 is more. 8 is greater. It's your turn. Okay, I want you to get out a red crayon and a pencil, please. Okay. I want you to put your pencils in your pencil tray. Grab your red crayon. Now I want you to fill in the circles to show, listen, how many boxes?
Use counters to show a number that is a lot smaller than 10.
Sorry. How many boxes are in this tens frame? Yeah, 10. Okay, listen. Guys, I did not say the color yet. You gotta follow directions. I want you to color in some counters that are a lot smaller than 10. So fill in a couple counters that is smaller than 10. A lot smaller than 10. Yes, a lot smaller, a number that is a lot smaller than 10. So are you going to color a 9? No, because that's not a lot smaller than 10. That's only a little smaller than 10. Okay, stop calling out and let's do your work. on to number 2. And I want you to show, using circles, so you're going to draw circles in the tens frame, show a number that is more than 10. More than 10. Using circles, so draw circles. We're going to do more than 10. Don't call out. Take it